Back to our other big story at this hour. House Bill 1 passed the House in a special session after a lengthy debate on the floor.
And we're talking about 2 seats out of 7. If somebody stood here in this body and wanted to take something away from you, you tell me you would not be angry? I am looking to try to build a future for tomorrow. Alabama's got to do better.
Republican lawmakers are pushing legislation that seeks to ensure redrawn voting maps would apply in the upcoming primaries if the courts allow the state to get new maps. House Bill 1, which passed the House just hours ago, addresses congressional districts, and Senate Bill 1 addresses state Senate districts. This also is all going on as emergency motions have been filed by the Alabama Attorney General to get courts to allow for new congressional and state Senate voting maps.
The push to redistrict comes on the heels of a Supreme Court ruling connected to a redistricting case in Louisiana that weakens the Voting Rights Act. WVTM 13's Lisa Crane joins us live in Montgomery.
Yeah, and Lisa, you've been following all of the action surrounding the bills inside of the State House. So what's the latest you can share with us?
Well, as you guys mentioned, there are 2 bills. House Bill 1, which just passed a couple of hours ago in the House, actually deals with congressional maps, and Senate Bill 1 deals with Senate maps. The Senate is about to convene as we speak right now, and I'm told the first thing that senators will do is take up a first reading on House Bill 1 that passed the House again just a few hours ago. Now, that vote came after several hours of debate. Just about every Democratic member of the House took their full allotment of 10 minutes each to express their very strong feelings about the bill and the special session in general. But in the end, the bill passed along party lines. We spoke to several Democratic House members after that. They call HB 1 a what-if bill based on speculation and a clear attempt to dilute the black vote. State Representative Adeline Clark from Mobile spoke about how this could impact her district.
We elected Congressman Shamari Figures to the District 2 seat. And now what my constituents are hearing is that we may very well lose that seat. And they are irate. They are not happy about this one bit because we fought hard to get that seat, giving us a second black member of our 7-member congressional or our 7-member U.S. House delegation.
Now, we tried to get an interview with a Republican member of the State House, but they declined to speak to us on camera. They did issue a statement, however, saying HB 1, Alabama's contingency plan, should SCOTUS apply the callous ruling to our state, has passed the House and heads to the Senate. Alabama House Republicans are doing our part to ensure Congress stays red. Now, the Senate is just about to convene. As I mentioned, they are expected to do a first reading on House Bill 1 and move on to Senate Bill 1. Republican senators tell me that they will have SB 1 passed by tonight with no amendments, and then both bills will go to their respective committees tomorrow. They expect a final vote on these bills to come on Friday. Live in Montgomery, Lisa Crane, WVTM 13.
Lisa, thanks. The Alabama Attorney General has filed multiple emergency motions on the congressional and state Senate maps. Just yesterday, the AG filed a motion asking a judge to halt an injunction. That injunction prevents the state's congressional map from being redrawn until 2030. A federal judge has given the other side until tomorrow night at 5 to respond.